What's going on, everybody? We've got a really strong Saturday MLB card, and this is the kind of slate where the betting board starts to separate itself pretty quickly. A few favorites look very live, a few underdogs bring real value, and there are also some totals that fit the current form of the teams much better than the market might be showing. So instead of forcing anything, let's break this one down the right way. I want to keep the focus on team results, recent form, bullpen strength, offensive trends, and the overall matchup picture. That's where the best edge usually is, and this slate has plenty of it. First up, Pittsburgh against Washington. This is a very clear pitching edge in one direction. Pittsburgh comes in with a more stable profile on the mound, and the Pirates have also been backing that up with a huge offensive stretch. Over their last 3 games, they've scored 12, 11, and 11 runs, which is exactly the kind of production that makes a team dangerous on the road. They've also been excellent against right-handed pitching over the last month, which lines up well in this spot. Washington, on the other hand, has not looked nearly as trustworthy. The bullpen has been shaky, and the overall run prevention profile is not nearly strong enough to feel comfortable against a team that is swinging the bats this well. If the opponent is already vulnerable in relief and you're coming in with a strong offensive trend, that creates a very live road spot. This feels like a game where Pittsburgh has the better shape on both sides of the ball. The offense has been rolling, and the pitching matchup looks lopsided enough to support the better side. My best pick: Pirates run line on the road. That is the cleanest way to play this one based on form and matchup. Next, Minnesota against New York. This is one of the more interesting afternoon games because it really tests whether the Yankees can bounce back at home. New York has been much stronger at Yankee Stadium this season, and that home profile is one of the reasons they deserve respect here. Their starter has also been much better at home, and that matters because the Twins have not been especially strong against left-handed pitching over the last month. Minnesota has not been awful overall, but they've been a bit inconsistent, and that creates a tougher road spot against a team that generally handles home games well. The Yankees also have enough recent evidence to suggest they can respond after a shaky outing. That makes them the side with the cleaner bounce-back path. The matchup leans toward New York being able to do enough damage, especially if Minnesota continues to struggle a little bit against left-handed pitching. It is not the most explosive game on the board, but the home side has the more reliable setup. I'd lean Yankees run line here. The home profile and the pitching edge make them the side I trust a bit more. Now to Detroit against Texas. Detroit has been one of the better stories in this spot because the team is trending in the right direction on both the mound and in the bullpen. The bullpen numbers over the last month have been excellent, and that is a huge piece of the puzzle in a game like this. Detroit has also been strong against right-handed pitching recently, and the offense has shown enough power and overall production to keep the pressure on. Texas, meanwhile, is in more of a holding pattern. The starter situation is a little unclear, and that alone makes this game less stable for the home side. When you combine that uncertainty with Detroit's recent form and bullpen strength, the Tigers start to look like a very live road team. This is the kind of game where recent momentum and bullpen quality can carry a team even if the season-long picture is not perfect. Detroit checks those boxes better than Texas does right now. My best pick is Tigers money line here. The form is strong enough, and the bullpen edge is real. Next, Toronto against Seattle. Seattle has a very good chance to continue growing into its home form here. The home environment matters, and the recent start at T-Mobile has been more encouraging. The Mariners' bullpen has also been solid, and that gives them a good platform in a game where the opponent's offense has not been consistently dangerous. Toronto has not been a strong offensive team overall, and that remains a major concern. Even when they put up a bigger scoring number in one game, the season-long profile still points to a team that struggles to create consistent pressure. Against a solid Seattle bullpen and a pitcher-friendly setting, that is a problem. This feels like a game where Seattle has the better structure and the safer side of the matchup. Toronto can keep things close if they defend well enough, but they do not look like the more reliable team. I like Mariners run line here. The home edge and pitching profile make them the more attractive play. Now to Baltimore against Cincinnati. Baltimore is in a very appealing spot here because of the value created by the pitching matchup. The Orioles have been one of the more profitable teams in these kinds of spots because their starter has consistently given them a chance to win games, and this matchup gives them a real edge against a Reds team that has been uneven. Cincinnati is also dealing with a bullpen that has not been good enough to support the rest of the roster. That matters a lot when you're facing a team that can keep pressure on throughout the game. On top of that, the matchup history and the current form lean Baltimore's way. The Reds have enough talent to be dangerous, but the value side is still Baltimore. The price makes the road team more attractive than the market may be suggesting. My best pick is Orioles money line. It's a strong value spot and one of the better plays on the board. Next, Chicago against Cleveland. Chicago has been a very live team in this spot because they've been dangerous against left-handed pitching, and they've already had success in this exact matchup recently. That matters. When a team has already shown it can handle the same opponent and the same type of arm, it gives you a much better betting foundation. Cleveland's offense has not been enough to separate them, and that has been one of the main issues all season. Even with a decent pitching profile, they still need run support, and that is where they often fall short. That creates a game where the White Sox have the more appealing value as the underdog. This matchup also feels like it could stay tight, which helps the dog. The White Sox have been competitive in this type of spot and have a better chance than the odds may imply. I like White Sox money line here. The price is good enough, and the recent matchup result supports the value. Now to Tampa Bay against Houston. This looks like one of the better pitching games on the board. Tampa Bay has been very steady recently, and their starter has been one of the more consistent arms in baseball over the last stretch. That kind of stability matters a lot in a game where the other side is also capable of keeping things controlled. Houston also brings a strong pitching profile here, especially since returning from injury on the mound. That makes the total very interesting, because both teams have been decent against right-handed pitching and both pitchers have enough recent form to keep the score manageable. When you have two solid arms and two lineups that are good but not necessarily explosive in this exact setup, the under becomes more attractive than forcing a side. The game shape points to fewer clean scoring opportunities than usual. My best pick is under the total in Rays versus Astros. That is the clearest angle here. Next, the Mets against Atlanta. This is another game where the total looks more attractive than the side. The Mets bullpen has been one of the better parts of their team all season, and that gives them a real chance to keep games tight even when the offense is not fully clicking. Atlanta also brings a trustworthy bullpen profile, which adds to the case for a lower scoring game. Neither offense has been at its best recently, and that matters a lot in a matchup like this. When both teams have solid relief support and the bats are not dominating, the game often settles into a lower scoring rhythm. That is exactly what this matchup looks like on paper. The Braves may have the more complete overall profile, but the strongest betting edge is still the total. My best pick is under the total in Mets versus Braves. That's the cleanest play. Now to St. Louis against Chicago. This one has a little more coin flip energy, but the better value still leans towards St. Louis at the number. The Cardinals have had success against left-handed pitching, and their offense has enough pop to make this a live road spot. The pitching matchup is not overwhelming in either direction, so that keeps the game more balanced than the market may suggest. Chicago is still dangerous at home, but this is not a spot where the Cardinals should be written off. Their ability to put the ball in play and create pressure makes them a legitimate plus money look. Because neither bullpen creates a huge clear edge, this feels like a game where the road dog has a real chance to stay in it. I'd lean Cardinals to win. That is the side that makes the most betting sense. Next, Philadelphia against Kansas City. The Phillies come into this one with a very strong profile behind the starter. They have been winning consistently in these games, and the run line results have been especially strong over the last couple of months. That tells you the team is not just winning, but often winning in convincing fashion. Kansas City has not been in the same class lately, especially when it comes to bullpen support. Even when the starter gives them length, the late innings can become a problem. That creates a setup where the road favorite can still score late and separate from the home side. This is a good example of why team form matters so much. The Phillies have been much more reliable in this type of matchup and have already shown they can turn strong pitching into wins. My best pick is Phillies to win here. It's one of the stronger plays on the card. Now to San Francisco against Colorado. San Francisco comes into this one with a clear starting pitching advantage and the better recent form overall. Their starter has been in excellent shape, and the Giants have been winning behind him. That matters because it gives the team a steady base in a park where the game can get weird quickly. Colorado has been competitive offensively, and that makes them dangerous enough to stay live at home. But the bigger picture still leans towards San Francisco because of the gap in pitching quality and recent consistency. This is another game where the favorite has enough going for it that the road side becomes hard to ignore. The Giants have been the steadier team, and that is usually what you want in this spot. I like Giants money line. The pitching edge is enough to support it. Now to Boston against Los Angeles. Boston has had a rough year overall, and the offensive profile is the biggest reason why. They do have one of the better bullpens in the league, but that only gets you so far when you're near the bottom of the league in runs scored, slugging, and on-base production. That makes them hard to trust as a road favorite or even as a road dog in some spots. The Angels have not been much better overall, but they are at home and they are facing a team that is missing a key piece on offense. That gives them a cleaner path in this matchup, even if their bullpen is not anything special. This is not the most exciting game on the board, but the home side has the slightly better setup because Boston's offense is so limited right now. My best pick is Angels money line, and I lean slightly toward over 8. Next, Miami against the Athletics. This one feels like a total game more than a strong side game. Miami has been capable offensively in stretches, and the Athletics have been one of the better hitting teams over the season, especially at home. But both pitching staffs create enough concern to keep this game in a run-producing lane. Miami's bullpen has been better than the Athletics' bullpen, which is a real edge. On the other side, the A's offense has enough recent scoring to make them dangerous at home. That creates a matchup where both teams can contribute to a higher scoring result. This is not a game where I want to get too cute on a side. The cleaner look is on the scoreboard. My best pick is over 10.5 runs in Marlins versus Athletics. That's the strongest angle. Now to Milwaukee against Arizona. Milwaukee continues to look like one of the best teams on the board. They've been strong all year, and they also have the bullpen edge here, which is a major plus in any road favorite spot. Their offense has been a little quieter lately, but the overall profile is still elite enough to trust. Arizona has not been nearly as reliable. The offense has slipped, the bullpen is average at best, and recent form has not inspired much confidence. That is the kind of profile you want to fade against a more complete team. This is one of those matchups where the favorite has the better record, the better structure, and the better path to closing out the game. It is exactly the kind of setup that can produce a comfortable win. My best pick is Brewers run line here. That is one of the best favorite spots on the card. Last game on the board, the Los Angeles against San Diego. The Dodgers are still the most dangerous offensive team on the board by a wide margin. They have the better overall scoring profile, the better home record, and the more reliable ability to turn a matchup into a multi-run separation. That is a huge advantage in a game like this. San Diego's offense has been one of the weakest in baseball, and that makes this a difficult road spot no matter how you slice it. Their bullpen can help them stay respectable, but if they're not scoring enough, the game quickly tilts toward Los Angeles. This is another game where the favorite looks strong enough that the run line is part of the conversation. The Dodgers just have too much offensive firepower. My best pick is Dodgers run line here. That is the best way to attack the game. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes a huge difference in helping me keep these daily picks and breakdowns coming for you. I appreciate every bit of support, and it means a lot to keep building this with you all. I'll be back with more picks, more breakdowns, and more value in the next one, so make sure you stay tuned. Catch you in the next video.